Welcome back to Motivational Recap. Today, I'll be sharing the inspiring story of The Pursuit of Happiness, a 2006 biographical drama film. Buckle up and prepare for some spoilers as we delve into the plot. Set in San Francisco in 1981, the film follows the journey of Chris Gardner, the protagonist who sells medical devices for a living. Chris starts his day by dropping off his son Christopher at daycare and then visits various hospitals to promote his devices. Unfortunately, he struggles to make sales as hospitals perceive the devices as expensive and unnecessary. This financial strain forces Chris to rely on his wife Linda, who works double shifts to support their family. During dinner, Chris notices a Rubik's Cube and attempts to solve it effortlessly. The next day, he encounters a successful businessman who happens to be a stockbroker. Chris shares his thought that such a job needs high education. The man responds by saying that it's not required because one only has to rely on his math and social skills. After the brief interaction, Chris wonders that people around him are so happy. He wonders why he couldn't be more like that. The morning after, Chris tells Linda that he's going home at 6 because he will apply to be a stockbroker, and Linda thinks it's ridiculous, and Chris feels taken aback from her reaction. Intrigued by the job, Chris decides to pursue a career in stockbroking, despite Linda's skepticism. However, he faces a setback when he leaves his medical device with a street performer and witnesses it being stolen. Determined to recover his device, Chris chases the culprits and eventually retrieves it, only to find himself with 2 devices instead of selling one as he had promised. This disappoints Linda, who has grown increasingly frustrated with their financial struggles. The couple argues and Linda decides to leave with their son. Undeterred, Chris applies for an internship at Dean Witter Reynolds, a brokerage firm. He personally delivers his application to the head of resources, Jay Twistle, but their interaction is brief due to Jay's busy schedule. While waiting for a response, Chris encounters the street performer once again, leading to a tense confrontation. He eventually retrieves his device, but faces the challenge of supporting himself and his son. Chris promises Linda that he will sell the device to alleviate their financial burdens. Meanwhile, he imparts important life lessons to his son, emphasizing the value of happiness and encouraging him not to let others dictate his dreams. Determined to secure their future, Chris makes significant sacrifices and perseveres in his pursuit of a better life. He finally secures an internship at the brokerage firm and impresses the interview panel with his unique approach, despite not wearing formal attire. Jay congratulates him and urges him to accept the opportunity. However, Chris contemplates the unpaid intern period before making a decision. Later, Chris receives a call from Jay, who asks him to write down a number. Without pen and paper, Chris memorizes the digits and rushes to a nearby store to jot them down. He then confronts Linda, who has just dropped off their son, and they have a heartfelt conversation. Linda ultimately leaves, but their son remains with Chris. Chris and his son move to a motel and face several challenges, including financial setbacks and homelessness. Despite the hardships, Chris remains resilient and perseveres. He continues to work hard, selling medical devices and preparing for his internship exams. Through various encounters and experiences, Chris demonstrates his determination and resourcefulness. He even lends money to Mr. Fromm despite his own limited funds. He donates blood to buy parts of the broken device and successfully repairs it, earning enough money to stay in a hotel. He continues to find ways to sell the device, but more misfortune follows. That night, he and his son get home to the motel to find their things outside their room. He attempts to open the door, but the lock has changed. With no other options, Chris and his son have to move again. Despite being tired, they end up in a train station, where Christopher notes that the device his father is holding isn't a time machine. Chris then tells his son that it is after pressing its button, Chris acts out that they are transported back to the time of dinosaurs, and Christopher happily goes with this imagination. They then move to the bathroom where the father and son stay for the night. While his son is asleep, Chris quietly cries at the low light of his life. After this calamity, Chris and his son go to a homeless shelter but get rejected. Because only women and children are allowed, they then head to another homeless shelter, where they almost get cut off because the rooms are already full. Fortunately, they get their room after the security learns that the one in front of them cheated on his line inside the homeless shelter. In the other scene, Chris narrates that he learns how to finish his conversation with clients because he and his son have to get in line early to the homeless shelter. Days and problems continue to come and go. We see a scene where while going out, Mr. Fromm, who just got out of a taxi, asks Chris to lend him some money. Despite only having a limited amount, Chris still lends him $5. In desperation to earn money, Chris considers donating blood and then uses that money to fix the device. He is also left vulnerable with Christopher's questions, who asks Chris if Linda left them because of them, but he reassures his son that that's not the case. After his son tells him that he's a good father, Chris, somehow motivated, successfully fixes the device. The following day, he manages to sell the device, earning them just enough money to sleep in a hotel. Afterwards, the father and son go to the beach to get away from the city's cruel atmosphere. In the next scene inside the bathroom, Jay congratulates Chris on his final day for securing many clients. Afterwards, Chris gets called by Mr. Frackish. He leads Chris to Mr. Fromm, who notices that Chris is wearing a new shirt. Chris tells him that it's because he's on his last day as an intern, and Mr. Fromm responds by saying that he wishes he would still wear it tomorrow, informing him that he got the full-time job. Finally, Chris's dedication pays off when he secures a full-time job at the brokerage firm. Overwhelmed with joy, he expresses gratitude to the panel and embraces his son at the daycare center. The film concludes with the real Chris Gardner making a cameo appearance, symbolizing his triumphant journey. The pursuit of happiness is a testament to the power of perseverance, resilience, and unwavering determination in the face of adversity. Thank you for watching this recap, and remember to subscribe for more inspiring content. Have a wonderful day.